Hello, algebra students. Mr. Lawrence here with your lesson number 9, more on multi-step equations. This one won't be as long. There's only 4 problems. I'm not going to do an extra practice problem video. We'll be getting more practice in class. But let's get right down to it. We have a situation like this. Okay, 2 times the quantity of 3x minus 7 equals 10. Remember, we can't just add 7. Now, you've got 2 choices on this problem. You could distribute, which is a really good way to do this problem. And I'll go ahead and do it that way, but then I'll show you another alternative. All right, so if I distribute that 2, I end up with 6x minus 14 equals 10. Excuse me, and now the problem looks just like a 2-step equation. I listen to Saddam. I add 14 to both sides. I end up with 6x equals 24. And then I'll divide each side by 6. And I'll get x is equal to 4. If I check it, I put 4 in here for x. 3 times 4 is 12. Minus 7 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. There you go. It checks. The answer is 4. All right. Now, I promised to show you another way to do that one, so let me undo all that work and show you another way. Instead of distributing, I could, if I chose to, get rid of this 2. Well, how is this 2 attached to the quantity? By multiplication. So therefore, I could divide both sides by 2. And if I do that, I end up, the 2's cancel, I end up with 3x minus 7, and that equals 5, and there's a 2-step equation. Could add 7 to each side because Saddam told me to. 3x will equal 12, divide by 3, and x will equal 4. And there's the same exact answer. I don't necessarily prefer one way over the other. I guess it depends on the situation. Okay, so you can pick the way that might be better for you. All right, let's go on to problem number 2. It's a little more complex. Now, I have a 3 and a 5. Okay, I think on this one, I've got to get rid of that 5. I'm going to multiply by 5 over 1. I'm going to multiply by 5. If I wanted to, I could multiply by 5/3, but I don't like the idea of multiplying 10 by 5/3 because it's not going to turn into a whole number. I think it's going to complicate things, and I personally think it'll be easier to not do that. So I'm going to multiply by 5, and I'm going to be left with 3 times the quantity of 2x plus 4, and that's going to equal negative 50. All right, so I'm going to divide each side by 3. No, that would be silly. That would be the same thing as doing multiplying by 5/3. So I'm not going to multiply by 3. I'm going to distribute. This would be a situation where that trick I showed you, well, not trick, but alternate way to do it, probably wouldn't be as good. All right, 3 times 2x will be 6x plus 12 equals negative 50. I'll listen to Saddam and subtract 12. And so now I'm going to have 6x equal to negative 62. All right, well, I know it's not going to go in evenly, but I'll still divide by 6. All right, x is going to equal, it's going to be a negative answer. 6 goes into 60 10 times, right? There's 2 left over, so it would be negative 10 and 2/6, except 2/6 simplifies to 1/3. So my answer is negative 10 and 1/3. And that looks like a negative 103. So I'll try to rewrite it, make it look a little bit better here. Let's see. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. All right, so negative 10 and 1/3 is the answer. All right, numbers 3 and 4 are going to be very special cases. Number 3, I'm going to go ahead and distribute on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, I'm going to combine my like terms, my 4x and my positive 2x. Okay, so the left-hand side will turn into 6x minus 15, and the right-hand side will turn into 6x minus 15. Now, some of you may see something already, but if you don't see it, we'll get rid of 6x on the right-hand side, which means I have to get rid of 6x on the left-hand side. And here I will get negative 15 equals negative 15. Now, remember on the summer packet, there was a mistake and it said, how can I solve for x when there is no x in the problem? There's no solution. I put this in on purpose to show it to you again. This statement, ask yourself, when does negative 15 equal negative 15? It always is a true statement, right? Negative 15 always equals negative 15, right? That means that the solution is all real numbers. Any real number you put in for x will yield a true statement in this problem. You could pick 1, you could pick negative 5, you could pick 2/3, you could pick a googol. If you don't know what a googol is, it's a 1 followed by 100 zeros. You could pick pi. Pi is a real number. Any real number you pick, you put in for x, you will get a true statement. X can be any real number. All right, let's jump over to problem number 4. And I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. And I end up with 4 equals 0. Now, when does 4 equal 0? It never is a true statement. 4 can never be the same as 0. Never. Not by itself. So this is an example where there is no solution. When you end up with an equation that is never true, it is never true that 4 equals 0. There's no solution. If I had done the work and ended up with 5 equals 3, I know that's not the case. 5 doesn't equal 3. It's no solution. Okay, that's your video for today. Mr. Lawrence signing off. Good night, everybody.